going, guys? Ahmed here, back with another video. Here today to give you all another discussion video similar to the Love Live Serve video on female rap that I dropped earlier. I wanted to talk about a different topic this time, though. This time, aiming our focus at independent artistry and the music industry. I have this video here by Knox Hill, who is one of the greatest reaction channels of all time. One of the best at breaking down bars. He is a rapper himself, a lyricist at that, and so a lot of stuff that people may miss in a rap song. He is the real genius, bro. If y'all really want like what genius tries to do, he actually does. Okay, doesn't misquote nobody, sees the bars. You feel me? All that. And of course, he's got his own opinions, and like some people, he's not afraid to shy away from sharing those opinions. Particularly in regards to independence. As you know, most if not all YouTube rappers are independent rappers, which much salute to them. Of course, it's a very difficult endeavor, but one that allows you to keep your artistic liberties no matter what, which is super, super dope. That being said, he made this video about the music industry, and this is something that I'm very passionate about. But it's also a video that I don't fully agree with or disagree with. I think there's points in these videos where he is spitting and is speaking facts. There's a point in this video where I feel like he doesn't really that there's nuance to the situation, and in some places where I feel like him and inevitably Tom MacDonald, who we'll get into in a second, I feel like are somewhat blinded by their privilege as white rappers in this game. In terms of Tom MacDonald, I think it's weird. The more I listen to Tom MacDonald's music and the more I grow older, I think the more I really just don't respect Tom MacDonald's art crafts overall. And while this is a discussion about the music industry, which isn't necessarily tied to the specific artists and with the style of art that they make, I'm gonna mention it a couple of times. And so I just sort of let that be known. There are songs that I like from Tom MacDonald, but overall, I'm not really a big fan of his content or his music. And like I said, that'll come up in later points. So I wanted to get into this. Let's talk about it.
Tom MacDonald is taking on the music industry again. But this time, it's not for being controversial in his raps. No, it's actually for making a pop song better than the labels do it. So Tom's had a series of skits running where he takes on the labels, where he declares war, as we know, on the music industry. His song Ghost has charted at #1 on Billboard, upsetting, naturally, a lot of industry paid labels, a lot of...
Even though, like I said, I don't like his music, but I gotta clap it up for that. Indie artists going to the top is something that is, regardless of how I feel about whatever, that's an impressive feat to accomplish, and it gives hope and precedent and opens the door for new independent artists to do the same. So regardless, you got to clap it up for that, right? You feel me?
You guys want to see something super messed up? I'm an independent rapper, but I have the #2 pop song in the country right now, and I'm trying to hit #1. I'm going to show you the
So he dropped that when he was at 2. We all know he made it to 1.
difference between an independent artist and a mainstream artist, and why it's almost impossible for independents to compete. The #1 pop song in America is Unholy by Sam Smith, and these are the song credits. 2 major labels are behind this song, Capitol and EMI. Wow. 7 songwriters wrote this song, and 7 producers produced this song.
Wow. 7 songwriters, 7
niggas.
producers. I mean, that's not near like the 35 that I dropped in my skit, but still, that is a lot of people working on one singular song.
2 pop song in America is Ghost by me, Tom MacDonald. Ghost has 1 writer, me, 1 producer, me, and 0 major labels. 16 people worked on Unholy by Sam Smith. 1 person worked on Ghost by me. Support.
And that deserves respect. Like I said, regardless of how you feel about his music, that is impressive. And they're going to get into this in a second, but that is exactly why being an indie artist is so difficult, because you don't have the same level of support. You don't have the same level of sort of A&R that pushes you to be popular in the same way.
independent artists. We're literally up against a machine and we're fighting it
Yeah,
with
he's
like
right
a
about
stick.
this.
And if you want to help me beat the machine and get the #1 pop song in America, just head over to iTunes or Amazon and download my new song Ghost. I'd really appreciate it.
Literally up against an institution. We are one singular unit up against an entire organization, an entire machine with multi-billions of
Facts.
dollars within the industry. And we're trying to take them on and be successful because we're tired of the same mainstream trends. We're tired of them dictating to us.
He's gonna make a later point that I disagree with, but I do agree with this portion of his point, which is that like the oversaturation is ridiculous at this point. Like, why is there only 2 or 3 sounds that are allowed? Why are radio shows only playing certain kinds of music, right? Why is it about what you think is gonna blow rather than what you think deserves to blow, right? Why is it about what you think is gonna sell the most records versus what people want to hear?
This is the sound that is going to be popular, that this is what society should accept, what they should digest. That's why on this channel, I will continue to celebrate independent artists. And when people are like, well, Tom MacDonald's super controversial, like, why do you react to his stuff? Because I think he's a very talented MC. On top of that,
I don't like this point at all. So I feel like this is a bit, I don't know if it's disingenuous necessarily, because maybe people were actually telling him this. But like, the problem isn't being controversial, right? Like, Kanye West in his early years was controversial for the way that he presented himself and the way that he was extremely religious. That was controversial for its time, right? To me, Tom spreads misinformation and half-truths in his music. And also like is like degrading to a lot of people, right? Like degrading and just blatantly fucked up to like a lot of identities and groups of people in his music. And so I would say that it's less about the music. It's fine if the music is controversial if you're stating your opinion and not disrespecting anybody outside of the context of a diss track, obviously. But if you're not disrespecting large masses of people and you're not spreading misinformation, be as controversial as you want. But like, there's an issue with Tom's music because of the potential effect that it has on its listeners and because of the out of context things that he brings up. Yeah. And so it's not because his music is controversial, right? It's because his music, in a lot of people's mind, is damaging.
I think he's a great marketeer. On top of that, he's very, very creative. He's a good songwriter. He has a great understanding of musical structure, and he knows how to write songs about topics that are going to get him attention and controversy.
I agree with all of that, but again, that isn't always necessarily like a good thing, right? Like you can say the same thing about DJ Vlad, and DJ Vlad is corny as heck. Like, you feel me? Like, just because you're good at marketing controversy doesn't mean that like you deserve respect as an artist.
Same thing that Eminem did. Look, Eminem even came out.
I hate, bro, and when I first heard it, I hated this comparison. The more I think about it, I hate this comparison. No, Eminem did not. Well, let me let him finish the sentence.
Songs about topics that are going to get him attention and controversy. It's the same thing that Eminem did. Look, Eminem even came out in interviews like, man, I was rapping for 10 years. I was dropping.
So here's the problem. Here's the difference between Tom, because I've seen this comparison made even by Tom, and I think it is one of the most gross and like disingenuous like comparisons I've ever heard. Eminem in Marshall Mathers LP1 described fantasies that he had by himself, and that was it. And then he would give context to the pain that he was in that caused him to have these violent fantasies. And so while the words themselves are extreme, it's all in the context of he's not actually going to do any of this. This is just what's on his mind, right? That's not what Tom MacDonald does. Tom MacDonald presents himself as a content rapper. Tom MacDonald presents himself as a, message-based rapper speaking truth to power, when really he's like a pro-government, like, hip-hop rapper. Like, to a large extent, again, I know he has songs, centering mental health and his, relationships and stuff like that, and I like those songs because I think, like he said, I think he's objectively a decent rapper, but especially his politically centered tracks, he presents the information as like a conscious rapper would, as a Kendrick or a Cole would, but it has far less context and makes far worse points than like Kendrick or Cole would. You present yourself as this message rapper, this holier than thou rapper who understands. He has that song "People So Stupid," right? Like, who knows more than the people around him somehow, right? Like, and then you say dumb like bacteria is life on Earth, but baby isn't, or sorry, bacteria on Mars is life, but a fetus isn't life on Earth. You'll say dumb like that.
Let's talk about abortion. Sorry, tell me how this works. Bacteria is life on Mars, but a heartbeat isn't life on Earth? Weird.
And it's like, but you present that as fact. That's the difference.
Shit, but nobody was listening. It wasn't until I started saying outlandish, wild stuff that people start turning their heads.
Hate this
But in
Eminem.
this case, Tom is talking about pressure points within our society. He's talking about issues that he wants to give a greater platform and a greater light to. And he's very smart in how he goes about it and getting more.
I'll disagree with that, though. He's smart in how he markets himself. He's not smart in the way that he expresses his opinions and thoughts.
And the success speaks for itself. And it's obviously going to upset a lot of labels because labels want artists to believe that they can only be successful with them, the labels. It's just natural in their business order, which is guided by profits, right? They're not as motivated to take risks with their music, to take risks with their artists. They're going to capitalize on whatever formula they know has been successful in the past, has helped them.
And this is why you see in certain artists a lack of artistic evolution, especially when they find a sound that blows up. I feel this way currently about, maybe Lil Baby and Lil Durk. But there's a lot of artists who you can apply this to who, just seem to come on the scene with such an original style, original idea, but then somehow stop innovating once they sign to a major label. And it's because of exactly what he's talking about. I don't think it's all major labels, right? I think like Dreamville, for example, absolutely gives their artists, creative liberty. I don't think that that white people were in a boardroom talking about what the Forever Story was going to sound like, or I don't think that there was a group of white people trying to formulate an album and then they got Age, Sex, Location, right? But I definitely do agree with his point in the general sense. My bad, y'all. So my computer again kind of froze up a little bit. I had to bring it back though. So yeah, let's get back into it. We were talking about lack of artistic evolution from certain people when their label thinks that they have found a formula and don't really allow their artists to evolve past that formula because they're afraid that the change may result in a lack of, return on investment.
Has been successful in the past, has helped them to get their artists to the top of the charts because that's how they generate profits. They're not interested in art for the sake of art and pushing the boundaries of being creative. No, they're going to rely on the same safe formulas that they know to try to line their pockets.
What you're about to see are real conversations I've had with major record labels over the last.
So here's where the problems begin for me. Um, there's this first clip right here, and let's
days. This is an email I got from Sony a couple days ago. Hi, hope all is well. I'm an A&R at Sony. Are you interested in having conversations with record labels at this moment? Artists, take note. This is how you respond to a record label. No. Send. This is an email I got from...
So I think this is one of the things that I really don't like, because it's simplified. And this is, I feel like, damn, I just realized this now. But to me, this is what Tom does in his music as well, is you simplify issues and ignore the nuance, right? I think a far better way to have this discussion is to talk about what the red flags are in record labels, because some people don't have a choice. Some people start off homeless. Some people start off from poverty, and they don't have the benefit of, being white, and thereby being able to amass a fan base quicker. Maybe they actually want to be somewhat different and garner their own audience rather than round up the most edgy and controversial members of the Eminem community, and actually want to build their own audience. And therefore, it's going to be far harder for them to break through and make some kind of success that they can actually live off of, right? But they don't see the idea that what that first advance can actually do for you, because they've never had to make those kinds of decisions, right? They always had somewhat of a fallback, or the potential for a fallback, with their music careers that are far more likely to blow up. And I'm not saying that they didn't have to fight and they didn't push super, super hard and that they didn't work hard, because they absolutely did. I'm not saying they didn't. What I'm saying is that compared to a black rapper who, again, is not like trying to section off an audience that already exists, a niche that already is there, the Eminem niche, it's a lot harder for them to make a living off of this stuff. And when the difference is take this, offer, or my family can't eat and I don't know when I can give them a plate to eat, that's a different level of decision that I don't feel like these people are properly put in to truly understand the dynamic of.
This has been Communicating with Record Labels 101. I'm Tom McDonald. Check out my new song, Ghost. It's fire.
How many?
And you see how he presents that information right there? And this is something that people will miss because they want to believe so. You see how he presented that information? This is how you do it, right? That is a really big problem in my opinion. That is not how you do it. That is one way to navigate the music industry. And that doesn't mean that's the best way. It just means that it's one way that will incur the least amount of risk of being taken advantage of, right? But it doesn't mean it's the only optimal way to move through the music industry. And when you present these ideas as lessons for how to move, you present it as this objective truth, that's where problems come in my opinion.
Artists would just want to snatch the opportunity to be offered an advance like that from even a distribution company, and then having a split like that. They would look at the advance money and go, right, let me get that. And that's the problem. That's how a lot of labels get you, a lot of deals get you, because they offer you big advance money. But then if you start reading the terms and conditions, you start reading the fine print. Again, this is why I did a skit. This is why I'll continue to expose the music industry to help further this message that Tom is sharing, which I think is very important. But what they do is they get you involved, and essentially it's a crappy loan that you have to pay back over time at an interest. And those interest rates and those APRs are awful. So they're basically like banks, except in this case, they offer you a loan. You can't pay it back over time. And then at the end of it all, they own your royalties in perpetuity. They own it for forever. So you don't control your own music. You don't control your own creative.
This is 100% true, but this is why it's important to read record label, read the label itself, or read the deal itself instead of just blindly push it away.
In the past, I came under some fire for critiquing some artists who accepted distribution deals when they were independent artists. And for me, a distribution deal is essentially a label deal, just masked in a different way. And when I had independent artists that I was reacting to that I could then monetize, that was one of the ways that they grew.
So, and this is where, and this is, I think, the kind of the big point that I want to harp on. I don't think there's anything wrong with pushing people into the direction that you believe is good and just. I do think there's an extra step that goes into criticizing and judging other people for the decisions that they made. And I don't know the nature of the artists that he was criticizing, but I just, on a general sense, feel like people do not deserve to be criticized or sort of looked down upon simply for signing a major label. Right now, if you saw that the deal itself was messed up and they signed it anyway, okay, cool. But just the act of signing a major label, we don't know the context of the label. We don't know the context of the deal. We don't know the situation they were in prior, right? They could be literally homeless, right? They could need some money for rent. Their mom or dad could be in some severe medical situation. At the end of the day, we don't know, and people are in different kinds of dire strengths. And for you to complain about that for what is about to be a selfish reason, right? Because you're mad that they're on a major label because you can no longer make money from their content. That just doesn't sit right with me, and I don't think it's fair to the artist.
Artists that I was reacting to that I could then monetize, that was one of the ways that they grew, that they got a lot of reactors to support them because you could monetize off them, because we all know labels are taking so much money from reactions. You know, this is not a job that I recommend for most people because it's an oversaturated market. It's really hard to do well. And currently, you've got an algorithm that is definitely pushing down reaction channels that wants to limit the power and the reach of reaction channels. Again, I've got a video.
This is the thing, right? This is also true. Labels underestimate the power of reactions. Labels sort of want to remove reaction channels as much as possible, whether that be trying to make them financially unstable by taking their money or pushing them down in the algorithm so that the indie artists won't get as much playtime or won't get as much sort of looks and impressions or whatever. This is 100% true, and this is a problem, but I don't feel like you can necessarily criticize an artist for signing a deal. Again, maybe he knows the specific deal of the person he's mad at, so there's maybe that context that I don't fully understand, but I'm just talking on general principle.
If we're going to react to a label artist, we know that we can't monetize it. If we're going to react to a big independent artist that we have a relationship with, like I have a relationship with Tom, and I know I can message him if there's ever a problem. He's going to message me back. I don't have anyone at the label that I can talk to. Who am I going to pick? You know, if I only get so many reactions a week.
I mean, it's a smart financial decision, right? Yeah, that makes sense. And I'm not mad at anybody for choosing to react to independent artists. It's just when you look at the dude like, oh man, I can't react to your music anymore because I won't make money. Come on, bro. Come on, bro.
Okay, I gotta show you guys this. This is an email one of my fans sent to a radio station requesting go.
Oh, I hate this point that he's about to bring up. I hate this point that he's about to bring up.
Clout.
Okay, I gotta show you guys this. This is an email one of my fans sent to a radio station requesting Ghost. And this is the email they got back. Thanks for the email, Michael. Unfortunately, we don't play unsigned artists. What the f?
Now that's some bullshit, right? That's some bullshit. That's dumb. You feel me? That's trash. And because he left it at that, that's trash. Your job is to put people on to new music, not play the music that people have already heard. And it's definitely not makeshift payola, which is what this is.
Well, it can't be a quality issue because you...
But then Tom goes into this point.
Email, Michael. Unfortunately, we don't play unsigned artists. What the f? Why? Well, it can't be a quality issue because you guys play Katy Perry on the radio and her music's trash.
Facts.
It can't be a controversy issue because Morgan Wallen got busted saying the N-word. Tekashi 6ix9's a convicted felon. And Kanye West. I mean, you know, the point
Facts.
is they're all on the radio. It can't be a content issue because most artists promote guns, drugs, sex, and liquor, and you play all of them on the radio.
Yeah.
So
I hate that point. And I think it probably, to be honest, it probably is a content issue because you spread misinformation. But I never understood this point that people like say when they say promote, right? Let's look this up right. Matter of fact, let's look this up live right now. Hold on. I don't even know what's gonna pop up. Don't mind me, I'm just, you feel me? Promote. To further the progress of, support, or actively encourage. Besides Bronx Drill, which will get its own video, trust me, it's coming soon. I don't understand how rap promotes any of the things he's just said. I've listened to a lot of Future, I've listened to a lot of Pusha T, and I've listened to a lot of Gunna. And Young Thug is my favorite rapper. And no point in those songs are they telling me to do drugs. Do they make drugs even sound? Future actively dissuades me from ever wanting to do drugs because of the addiction and pain that he talks about in his music. I listen to a lot of Pop Smoke, Fabio Foreign, and Rowdy Rebel, and even some K-Flock here and there. You feel me? None of those things have ever encouraged me to kill. They don't support killing people. They talk about their own experiences and the things that they have gone through. That's not what you do. What you do is spread misinformation. What you do is explain half-truths and strawman people's arguments. And so, from like a morality standpoint, yes, I think that your content is far worse than any hood rapper that exists because they always present their information as their own experience. You present your information as the stream of consciousness of the world that the internet isn't ready to accept. That's the difference.
could it possibly be? Does this dude have no personal taste of his own at all? Does he have
Now what he's about to get into, this part is very true. This whole no personal taste.
play all of them on the radio?
Yeah.
So what could it possibly be? Does this dude have no personal taste
Facts.
of his own at all? Does he have to be told by a major label what's a good song because he can't pick for
Facts.
himself? Is he being paid by major labels to
Facts.
exclusively play signed artists? Bro, why do you work in radio if you're going to gatekeep and deprive your audience of music they
Facts.
want to hear? You're not a radio DJ if you're just taking orders and towing the line. You're a pawn. And judging by the email you sent, you almost sound proud of it, weirdo. What do you guys think the issue is? Let me know. And a huge shout out to all the radio stations who have played my new song Ghost and who are
And
playing
all
all of
indie
the other
artists.
independent artists. Y'all are the real MVPs, and we appreciate you very, very much. Check out my new song Ghost by Tom McDonald. Download it on iTunes or Amazon. Request it at your local radio station.
I think there's one more point in here that I disagree with. But like I said, most of this video is valid. Hold on, I need one more point that I don't like that he makes. Hold on.
Moral of the story, support your independence.
Yep.
Support your local artists. Support the people that you want to listen to who are not afraid to speak on subjects and to provide you with messages that matter more than just a trend. That matter more than just music that is like, hey, just enjoy the moment and be mindless. We're not...
I hate that. There, I was about to say, that's it. Why are we doing this? Why are we doing this? Why? I'm so sick of lyricists and like these like Eminem type rappers clowning on party music because somehow their music is more valuable. Why are we getting into this tit for tat? Why can't everybody be different? Right? Why is your music inherently more valuable than the Migos or Future or Lil Uzi Vert or Lil Baby? It's not. For some people, it may be more valuable. For some people may derive more value from it. But some people may appreciate what other artists have to offer. But I don't understand why you have to artistically gatekeep, fun, vapid music because it has no meaning. That doesn't mean just because music doesn't have any, because the artist isn't saying something conscious doesn't necessitate that the music has no meaning. It's just a mentality I've seen a lot, from lyricists, and especially old school lyricists, and a lot of the sort of Eminem fandom that I really think is quite a toxic way of looking at music. With that being said, thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. This is, again, I do love Knox Hill. One of my favorite YouTubers in general, got me into YouTube, of course. And this is all just to start a discussion. This is not me, giving the definitive rebuttal or destruction of his video. This is just to start a discussion. Let me know what y'all think of this video in the comments, and peace, y'all.